Hey everyone, back again, and we're using the Flutterby collection. We are family again, and I've picked out this lovely little wood grain looking paper, and I've got this little photo of us, first family photo that was taken when my eldest was born. So I'm just going to have a play with a sort of like a grid kind of style. I like some of these little rectangular smaller filler card pieces, and I wanted to have a play with adding those kind of things and some embellishments and stickers and whatnot all over the page. So this is a little bit of a windy figuring out where things go page, but I figured if you watch the process, that way you can get a bit of a thought as to how it all comes together, rather than I could simply put the page and then show you it all together at the end where I've glued it all down. But you then miss out on the going back and forth of this, this icon there and this word here, and cutting that down and changing that and, whatnot. So just going through the ephemera pieces now, and I thought might put that together, but I thought it was too much rainbow and wordy all together at one spot. And put the house there and the together there. So there's some really great pieces in this collection. So check out her shop if you want to get your hands on it. So there's some tabs, and there's die cuts, and there's flare, and there's an acrylic piece, and there's these fun little pieces that are a cut file that's already been cut out that says love, and then you get these backgrounds pieces that you can you can back that cut file. No, cut file. So just layering some paper behind it. So this one I'd cut out a heart out of that filler page, but I kept it because there's still enough to layer behind a photo, such as the one I did right then. Just having a look at some more. I didn't want to add too many photo layers behind it, but I did want to add a little bit so that it tied it all in, and that it wasn't just a lonely little feature on the page, that it actually stood out and shone as the photo that's telling the story today. So on goes those two papers to back it, and I go back and forth with those two tabs, the yellow one and then the wood veneer one, before I settle on it at the end. Just going to layer this family piece up with this little rainbow pixel kind of look. And that's a nice little cluster down there. It came together so quickly. Some parts, I don't know about you, but if you're doing a page like this where you want little bits and pieces everywhere, sometimes parts of it come together so quickly, like that We Are Family, that family piece, and then that frame down the bottom. And other bits, I fiddle around so much with it and go back and forth. And half the time I settle on what I originally put there, but other times I do find something better than the original. So just cutting this down, outlining it rather than having it a square, so that it's a different look of element. And the good thing is there's different fonts in here. So there's the, the scripty love, and then there's that family, that a rainbow block, and then down the bottom it's still a rainbow block, but it has the We Are in a different font. I decided to cut down that photo, that camera, and now it just blends in too much. I can't keep it there. I go for a heart and cut this one out. I did cut a heart out in the previous video as well, which is funny, but that's okay. Obviously that's what I needed for the layout. So on it goes. I did keep a little outline, but then I decided to cut that off. And like I said, I just play around with things until I work out what I want. So actually gluing down the layers now, gluing down the tab, and then just having a look to see if there's anything else that I want. I think I go and find, there's a whole sheet of tabs, and I decide that maybe if the problem is that if I'm trying to decide between these two, maybe neither of them are the right one. So I go and pick a blue one. That way it just adds in that pop of blue colour that's all over the page into that little cluster. So just going through and settling on what I know I like, and so that I can add a bit more. I do add this family up on some fun foam, And some of them are up, some things are on fun foam and a lot are on just flat onto the background. You could totally do this on just plain cardstock and either just have it as plain cardstock or have a bit of mixed media going on in the background, some, packaging technique or some texture paste or a stencil. You could totally scrap lift this and do it in multiple ways. So there's these rainbow stickers, and I'm just going to add a couple of them here, there and everywhere. That's just a plain blue one. So you can see a whole sticker sheet here of goodness. I thought that ties that, doesn't tie it in, sorry, there's a circle and then I bring a flare in to tie in that circle. Sorry, the screen is moving a little. I explained it in the last Flutterby video too because I recorded them on the same day. I had just cleaned my room and changed everything around, and instead of having my tripod clamp thing on a shelf next to my desk, I had it on my pegboard, which is attached to my desk. Anytime I moved, it moved as well. It's not too bad, especially in this video, and especially because I cut a lot out. But the bit that you do see, I do apologise for. Hopefully you stick around and it's not too annoying. I have fixed it. I have changed it as soon as I finished these two videos. I realised it was just too much and then changed it back to the old way. So you can see now I'm just building out. So rather than having just a small tight grouping of random things, well, not random because they all go together, but I go for a more full diagonal from the left hand bottom corner to the right hand top corner, filling it up with all this lovely goodness that it just reminds me of that day in that photo. So add in some flair. So like I said, I kept in the process because I go back and forth with things, but it's nice if you are contemplating doing this and you're struggling, and sometimes I think we look at a page that someone's created and we go, wow, that looks so simple, I'm going to do it. And then when we struggle a little bit or it takes us a little bit longer than we would have liked, we then freak out that, that we're no good at this or that it's just never going to work. But the fact is, there's a lot that goes behind scrapbooking pages. Some have come together really quickly and others take longer. Some people take longer than others to do exactly the same, but that's okay. The process is the fun part. It's not the end result and the end product is great to have. But for me especially, and it might not be for everyone, for me especially, creating is what I love about this, and then the documenting the memories is the second part of it. As crazy as that sounds, but this is my hobby. This is my downtime and my ability to express myself creatively. I've always done something creative basically my whole life. When my kids were little, I did sewing, and I really liked painting and art at school, even though I wasn't very good at it. It was something I liked, and even just basic colouring in as a kid, and anything that was artistic, I liked. And for Christmas, there was lots of those creative art kits that I used to get and things like that, because that's what I enjoyed doing. And then this is just a more adult version of my creativeness, and it is I can't sew so much anymore. In terms of when my kids were little, I used to sew their shorts and all bits and pieces and things like that, but now that they're pre-teens, they don't want to wear shorts that their mum has sewn for them, but also it costs a lot more in fabric and stuff. So back when I was doing it when they were 2 and 4 and that kind of age, I'd get some fabric really quick and cheap and be able to make 2 pairs of shorts out of 1 meter or 1.5 meters or whatever. Anyway, back to the process. That was a really not necessary tangent, but I'm trying to work out how to border this page. It needed something to ground all the goodness that's going on, and instead of a normal border, I decided to rip these corners, and I like how it turns out. So I went back and forth with a normal border with those pages that you're seeing while I was rambling, And then I decided that I'd rip the edges. So just making sure they're ripped the way I want them to be. Isn't it funny that we rip pages and then we perfect the rip? And then I decide what page I want on the background. So there's this lovely rainbow. Is that going to work? And then I go with, look in this black and white. Is this going to work? And I really like both of them, which is why it's so hard to decide. And then I wonder whether this, and nope, that's just too purple. And nope, the colours are too light. I don't like that one. So it's between these two pages. So the black and white and then the rainbow. And I decide on the rainbow. So I'm just going to add some tape down the ripped edge. And then I'm going to stick it on. And then chop out the middle of that rainbow paper so that I can keep it. But this also means that it lines it up so that I have a 12 by 12 without having to pull out a ruler. Isn't that sneaky? So add in that bottom piece, and then this is my layout. So I hope you enjoyed the process today. Definitely subscribe and like and comment if you've enjoyed it or you want to see more, and let us know how you're going. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next video. Bye.